We will not wait for the terrorists to come to us. We will go to them and crush them in their hideouts. With the operations of our heroic soldiers beyond the border and our police and security forces within the country, we will leave the terrorists no room to breathe. In addition, to avoid similar attacks, we will remain stationed in the areas that we have cleared for as long as we need to and to avoid similar attacks.
For more context on this developing story, let's go live to our political analyst, Onur Erim, who joins me now from the Turkish capital, Ankara. Welcome to the program, Onur. I want to speak about what President Erdogan said just there. But first, tell us, where are we diplomatically with the US and Turkey right now?
I don't think we're in a different spot than we have been over the years. The only difference is over the past, several years, starting with President Erdogan's tenure as the prime minister, Turkey has had a shift in its approach to U.S., where everything between the two nations has to be a understandable win-win operation, win-win decisions on both sides. Where in historically before the 2000, maybe 1990s, U.S. was used to a Turkish governance where pretty much Turkey listened to everything and has done everything that U.S. said. Well, with Erdogan's tenure, this started to change, and in the recent years, it changed a lot. Where we can understand. We can agree on things with the U.S., but there are also things that we can't agree. This, of course, I have to single out because it's a totally different issue. But that shift in Turkey's approach to bilateral relations, of course, seeking also her own interests, as was something that the U.S. wasn't used to in the last 60, 70 years.
All right. And more specifically with this recent let's call it spat. Do you think a potential escalation of tensions was averted?
I guess it's. I don't know where it will go. We're once again facing an administration under Biden, who is pretty much made up of the same group of people, bureaucrats and politicians from the Obama's terms. And let's not forget, Obama still holds the record, including World War II, as the president that has brought battles to more nations in the world than any other U.S. city, any other president in the history of the United States. So, if the same people pretty much have a different approach now, I think we may be looking at some new and better things for at least the area. But if not, it may be just as escalated as it was during the Obama administration. The U.S. has to make a decision. They have been supporting, arming, training, sending tens of thousands of containers of light to heavy, weapons to the arm of the PKK in Syria called YPG, yet another terrorist group, span of PKK. They have to decide whether they want to go into the history as the nation, as a country that has supported a terrorist organization, armed a terrorist organization, trained a terrorist organization, or not. So it's the burden of doing something right now, acting the right way is in the U.S. If not, Turkey is determined to wipe out the entire area of the terrorist groups.
Let's talk about that more in detail, Onur. What will Turkey do next? We heard the president speaking there before you came on, and also Turkey's defense minister announcing that operations are expanding in Iraq against the PKK. What will that look like?
In the last 3-4 years, Turkey had a sort of a shift in its approach to terrorist groups in the area. Whether it's PKK, they could call it PKK, YPG, PYD, it doesn't matter. Till about 3-4 years ago, it was all about, battling these terrorist groups. About 3-4 years ago, Turkey had, again, a shift in its approach, and they said, we're going to clean this place out of terrorist groups, period. This is a process. It was a domestic process, and it was an over-the-border process. In Turkey, the joining of the Turkish citizens to the PKK, YPG is now almost to zero. There has been a reverse for about a year and a half, calling back the terrorists to come, disarm themselves and leave themselves to the mercy of the Turkish courts. That's been going pretty well. The inner terrorist attacks has been almost down to zero, and the battle of battling these terrorist groups, as opposed to from right by the Turkish border, now into 25, 30 kilometers inside Iraq and Syria. That's being established. These are all steps to, for once and for all, clear out the entire area from the terrorist group. So it's been a process, both domestically and internationally, and it's going to go on for a while. But at this point, it's being very clear, made very clear by the president that this will come to an absolute end, and we will not stop this until it is ended. So whether the U.S. is involved in one way or the other or not.
Political analyst Onur Erim, always a pleasure to get your perspective. Thank you.